Right here?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
All right, Mike, I think we're going live here on Ustream, live stream, Tyranny Busters.
All right, folks, welcome to Tyranny Busters. Mike Benoit and Mario.
Paria!
There's-
Bam!
Man, you're going to bust some tyranny tonight. And we got Jasmine, the dog, right here. We're trying to teach Jasmine to be tough.
And to recognize a tyrant when she sees one.
Yeah, and then if she learns to bite tyrants only,
she gets a treat.
yeah.
That's how we roll around here.
So,
Tyranny Busters, Mike. Well, we've been doing this for a little while now. And we always start off with definition of tyranny.
well, yeah, it's pretty simple. Tyranny is the taking control of something where you don't have the right to control. So it's pretty simple. People typically think tyranny is some sort of despotic thing where they're pulling your eyes out and sticking needles in you, and the dog just moved the camera on us. Jasmine, this is serious business.
We're not the tyrants.
You're not doing the right thing, Jasmine.
Bad dog.
Get down off the couch.
How are we looking there, Mike?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm okay in here. I guess you'll be in there. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see if you'll get in there.
Is the computer centered?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's all right, man.
Let's see what it looks like. I think so, because this
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're back.
this reverses us on this thing.
Yeah,
So,
it's okay.
all right. So, and it doesn't mean that they're pulling your eyes out and fingernails out and stuff like that when you talk about tyranny. It's simply taking control of something you don't have the right to take control over. And if someone takes and makes you do something, it could be as simple as wear a seatbelt. That's tyranny, because they're taking power over you, and they're robbing you of your free will, your power to decide for yourself. That's freedom. And so tyranny is the opposite of that.
And so if you don't have the right, I mean, really you can only obtain the right if somebody gives you that right. Like if I say, okay, Mike, I'm going to give you the right to control my life. Then at that point, anything that you did to control my life wouldn't necessarily be tyranny.
I wouldn't say I don't think you can't give a right. You can give a power.
Okay.
So I'll give you the power to control what I do.
Right.
But the right over your life, that's what the founders meant by inalienable or inalienable. It can't be separated from you. Your right of self-determinism is what self-determinism is. Self-determinism. You can't give that to somebody else, because if you did, then it's no longer self-determinism, it's other determinism.
Right. And I was saying that in the spirit of the tyranny upon the mind, because a lot of these things minds are controlled by deception, right? So nobody has granted the authority for this other person to control their mind, make them see things the way that they do. But by deception, propaganda, this is how the tyranny is placed onto the mind.
Yeah, and then that's what this program is all based on. And a long time ago, I'm sitting there and I'm studying Thomas Jefferson and some of his quotes, and one quote just kept on pinging on me, and it's like, what does he mean by this? Because he's back, go back to 1776, and here's Thomas Jefferson saying, I swear on the altar of God eternal hostility upon every form of tyranny over the mind of man. And it's like this, I've never seen that kind of language coming from Thomas Jefferson with that kind of intensity. But this is something that was so vile to him, is the controlling of people's minds by lies and deceit and that kind of thing, I remember he said something about the only thing you could trust in the newspapers and the periodicals were the classified ads. So, you know, this is like the propaganda that was even in those things back in those days. Jefferson hated that whole idea with a passion.
So Jefferson was kind of like a Morpheus back in the day here. You know,
Yeah.
Morpheus breaking Neo out the Matrix. Right?
Yeah.
Because the Matrix is the propaganda. Well, that, you know, in the movie The Matrix, the people are hooked up to the machines. I mean, they're to the machine, right?
Right.
Their entire existence is totally fabricated by the machines, and so nothing is real. And so Morpheus he wants to break folks out of that matrix. But in today, we're not so sophisticated. And I mean, this point could be argued that our reality is totally fabricated. I mean, we are walking down the street. You know this is really happening in our life. We are driving our car in our life. But the propaganda here is that you're walking down the street and you're a free person. The propaganda here is that you're driving down the street. You're a free person, and even more so, I think, man, is the way that this propaganda works. I mean, it's crazy, man. Like, I was thinking about this. So, people, the Matrix in the movie, it is made to make people believe that they're free so that they can continue to be batteries for the machines. And so in this world, in order to make us think that we're free, there has to be this perception of happiness, I think, right? And so our reality is controlled by superimposing lies. For instance, the TV will make everybody think that the goal of life is to be married and have a house and to have kids, and this is going to make you happy and this is going to make you free, right? So people just go out, they grab whoever they find, they got nothing in common with this person, they procreate, they have a horrible relationship, they don't ever talk to their kids, but in their minds they're still thinking, hey, I got it made, man, because I have achieved what the Matrix has told me is necessary in order for me to secure my happiness. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean, you can kind of go spinning with this stuff too.
I mean, I'm spinning like a top.
You can just spin all over the place, and you know, I can see what you're saying. They're convinced that, you know, they've done what you're supposed to do, and therefore that's nirvana. And you're looking from the outside and you're saying, hey, this isn't really nirvana. This is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
You see, you know, some people are really dysfunctional and whatnot, but you know, you referred back to the Matrix. When they're doing all this programming, the programming can be in so many different ways. You know, it's like hypnosis, and you know, I've seen this explained a lot, where somebody hypnotizes somebody and they say, okay, the hypnotist says, when you wake and I touch my tie, then you're going to take your jacket off. And so the hypnotist wakes the guy up and touches his tie. The guy, the victim, the hypnotized guy, he takes his jacket off. Now the hypnotist goes, why'd you take your jacket off? The guy will say, he'll find a reason for doing it. He'll say, well, it was hot. That's why I took my jacket off.
I was itchy.
But he doesn't know the reason he took his jacket off was that he was programmed to do that. And so we don't know when the Matrix is working on us that way, how much of our actions during the course of the day or how we interact with other people has to deal with the programming of the tyranny upon the mind. I got somebody that he's convinced that the Muslims all hate us, and it's about 1.6 billion Muslims on the planet, and basically he's just super convinced that they hate us all, and they want us all destroyed.
All the Muslims.
Well, he said most of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, he wants to convince me, so he sends me this video to watch. And this guy who appears to be pretty knowledgeable about history spews a bunch of statements that are presented as facts. And he does this for 30 minutes, 40, 50 minutes. So I sit there and I watch this. If I want to believe everything this guy said as gospel, then I'll come out of it, man, yeah, that's right. 1.6 billion Muslims they hate us and they want to get us. And the thing about that that it defies reality is that we got to get the dog away from the camera again. Come in, doggy. It absolutely defies reality, because if 1.6 billion Muslims wanted to get us, we'd been gotten.
Well, we would, man. We'd have IEDs in the streets, right? We'd have suicide bombers every day inside of America. We would. That's it, you know. And so this is what they say, though. They say, well, it's the religion, right? It's embedded in the religion. This is what their religion teaches them.
Supposed to kill the infidel.
Man, and it's like, you know, I'm not some totally religious scholar, man, but I just crack up, man. I really do, at the way that the Jews fight the Christians fight the Muslims fight the Jews, and if you didn't have any type of knowledge about what was the basis of each one of these religions, then you would think that they were actually like separate groups fighting against each other. But really, they have the same exact belief core. They have many of the same prophets inside of their religions. Really, all this is a family feud that's going on. Even in the Muslims, you see the Shia and the Sunnis, and they're going at it with each other. And that's they're all fighting for this idea that we know the real God.
And the irony of this thing is that if these 1.6 billion Muslims all hate us, and we, as Christians, we don't hate the Muslims.
Right.
What's the death total, Christian versus Muslims, over the last 10 years?
Well, we got to keep ourselves safe, man. And, you know, the only way to keep us safe is to kill them before they kill us.
Yeah.
And it's not out of hate. It's we're keeping ourselves safe. This is the Matrix. Right? This is.
Well, we killed a lot of them because we saved them from Saddam Hussein too. You know, it's part of the Matrix.
Oh yeah.
We saved them from Saddam Hussein, so we had to kill.
Yeah. Wait.
500,000 or so on
the
sanctions.
I thought they had weapons of mass destruction, but this is the justification, right?
Yeah.
The justification comes in now.
That's the
guy taking off his jacket because he's been hypnotized.
Right.
He's saying, "Oh, I did it because I was itchy."
Yeah.
You know, and so now we say we went to war in Iraq because we wanted to free them from Saddam Hussein, even though the hypnotizers were telling us weapons of mass destruction. That didn't pan out.
Well, and it's just like I was telling you on this video. This guy watches this video that I know, and so he takes what this other fellow on the video was saying for 40 minutes as gospel. And, you know, it's just like somebody gets on a video and he sounds good. He makes this Clarence Darrow argument with you. And
hypnotized.
You know, believe this is gospel. This guy says these are all facts. He puts them in his mind as all being facts. Doesn't even challenge them. Mm-hmm. And I've had people send things out, you know, somebody sending out a recent email, and this is amazing to me because it's not like you have to go down to the library to, you know, get in your car and drive a far distance to verify and check out things and make sure they're factual. You get on your computer.
Right.
And somebody's sending this email around how Obama has this great Satan and has issued 943 executive orders, and he's doing all this terrible stuff.
Yeah.
And then somebody will say Bush before him only issued 4 executive orders. And all you do is type in executive orders into Google, and it comes up with a website that will actually show you what the executive orders are. And, you know, I forget the exact number with Obama, I think it's somewhere around 50 or 60, about half as many as what Bush did, but Obama's only had 4 years.
Right.
So, and they make these wild statements on this email that these other guys didn't issue any executive orders. Well, there's something like 13,000 executive orders, and that's split up between all the presidents since Abraham Lincoln, or even before that. And if you want to know what kind of guy really Abraham Lincoln was, instead of the history books, you can go to this website, Executive Orders, and read the executive orders that Abraham Lincoln issued. And that's a guy issuing an order, and you'll know just how vile and disgusting some of these executive orders were. But the thing is, and then one person sent something back. He didn't even, because I chastise these people.
That's why I don't hang out with you, Mike, is because you at least question these ideas that they have, and you asked for evidence.
And then I go, why do you pass this stuff around without checking it out a little bit first? It's just like, and I say, this is what's wrong. People are being lazy and just assuming stuff to be the truth.
Well, I got a perfect example here, Mike. I don't know if our viewers are going to be able to see this here, but you probably can't.
Maybe you want me to walk up there to the camera and hold it?
Well, here you go. I'll
Put it
go
on
ahead.
magnify.
There you go. We'll go up and.
There you go.
There you go.
Sure, we're mobile.
There you go.
Hey, down a little bit.
Take it.
There you go. What's that? Notice the difference.
Notice the difference. It's a picture of Mitt Romney on one side and Barack Obama on the other side. All right.
Yeah.
This is what gets passed around. If you have a Facebook and you have any friends who vote for Obama, you will have seen this picture. And the picture is Mitt Romney getting his shoes shined. Barack Obama, he's giving a fist bump to the janitor at the White House or something. It says, notice the difference. And so what it's meant to bring up, the emotions that it's meant to bring up is they're saying, oh, look at Mitt Romney, he's getting his shoes shined sitting on the tarmac. What a rich jerk. He's not a man of the people. Look at Barack Obama. He gives fist bumps to the janitor. You notice the difference, right? So, using what you're talking about as a point of departure, I decided, let me take a little bit of look into these pictures, right? Because I want to see what the real difference is. I bring up the Mitt Romney picture. This actually isn't even a picture of Mitt Romney getting his shoes shined. This is a picture of Mitt Romney sitting on the tarmac with some airport agent wanting his shoes for bombs. They're checking to see if he has any weapons. But these people, they pass it along. They pass this picture along as if to say that Mitt Romney's a jerk because he gets his shoes shined. And notice the difference. And so when I got this and I looked at it and I got it passed to me on the email, I said, well, yeah, I noticed the difference. Barack Obama's giving a fist bump to some dude, and the Mitt Romney's getting his foot wanded. Yeah, that's the difference here. And I said, things are not as they seem, though. Went on to tell my friend here, Goldman Sachs doesn't really think there's that much of a difference between these two guys.
Yeah.
That's why they're funding him. But this is the bull crap, man. This is the program here that you would think that this is the difference, man.
Well, even if, say, that stuff was true.
Right.
All right. Let's say Mitt Romney's getting a shoe shine the one time, right?
Right.
And so, and then 99 other times, he's just doing charitable work and nice stuff to people.
Right.
And the other way around, one time Obama does a fist bump.
The other times he's dropping drone bombs.
Yeah. All right. All the other time. But the guys that have their agenda, their propaganda, their tyranny that they want to put over your mind, that's what they're going to send out to you.
Right.
So that you only see a tiny part of the picture.
Right.
And then you run with that. But this guy, and the people do this, it's so easy, this tyranny, that they allow this tyranny upon their own mind because they take it as a credulity and they don't challenge it. They don't look like what you did on those pictures. They just jump on it, and that's the way it is. And then when you and I want to discuss something with them, they're like the guy that's had a case of beer already that makes no sense. You can't talk to them.
No, you can't.
They got it all locked in, and they're 100% sure this is the way it is.
Yeah, I guess kind of drunk off of ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, but I guess that you're always going to wake up with a badass hangover. You know, funny thing is I didn't get a response to my comment on the picture there. You know, saying, you know, well. So we'll talk about the difference here, Mike, and I'll take a quick second here, man, because I was reading Thomas Paine last night. You know, I try to reread these things, and this was from his Common Sense, and he was talking about. And I think you'll have some really good input on this, man. He was talking about the government, and he says, "Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. For when we suffer or are exposed to the same miseries by a government which we might expect in a country without government, our calamity is heightened by reflecting that we furnish the means by which we suffer. Government, like dress, is the badge of a lost innocence. The palaces of kings are built upon the ruins of the bowers of paradise. For were the impulses of conscience clear, uniform, and irresistibly obeyed, man would no longer need no other lawgiver. But that not being the case, he finds it necessary to surrender up a part of his property to furnish means for the protection of the rest. And this he is induced to do by the same prudence which in every other case advises him, out of two evils, to choose the least." There's no choice in between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. You're not choosing the lesser of two evils here. They are evil.
It's only a perception, because they've had what they've allowed to be filtered into their mind is based on a different bias. So the guy that thinks Obama's the lesser of the two evils has let his mind perceive a different bias than the guy that thinks Romney's the lesser of the two evils. But see, these guys, both of them, believe in controlling us and telling us what to do.
Yes. National Defense Authorization Act, assault weapons ban, socialized medicine, bailouts, which is extracting the wealth from us. That's the thing here, Mike. There's no difference between them. That's not the choice. The real choice here was between these two assholes and Ron Paul. That was the choice. I try to imagine Ron Paul, as Thomas Paine said, being some sort of evil, and I was like trying to well, what would be evil about this government that Ron Paul was ready to bring in? I was trying to, and maybe that there are some evils.
Well, Paine's talking about that because you have to give up a portion of your production,
right,
for the protection of the rest. No, that's evil. You shouldn't have to, but there's all these guys that want to steal what you got. So because of that, then we got to take some of what we've got and set up safeguards against those guys that are going to take the rest of what we have.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And that's why he's referring to even the best government is evil, but he understands that it's a necessary evil. So, when people say that, all government is evil, then in that sense, they're right, but they like the anarchists, they'll forget the necessary part of that. They'll say it's not necessary, and they'll go on and they'll talk for a long time about how all the abuses of governments throughout the history of man, and they'll talk a long time on that, and because and what these guys do by their evil or bad nature, but they somehow think that without government that evil or bad nature is going to go away, and it just doesn't go away. No. That's why governments were started in the first place, to deal with that.
Yeah, I guess that's the evil that you got to give up a part of it. I don't know. It seems just kind of to call that evil. I mean, when I look at the evils, when you're talking about throwing people in jail, right, for not paying property taxes or taking their house from them for not paying property, that's evil, man.
Right.
When you're saying throwing people in jail for buying raw milk, that's evil, man. Like that. Well, everybody putting money together in order to protect themselves from these types of acts doesn't really seem evil to me. I don't know. It seems more like medicine to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's evil in the sense, think of evil. I mean, you think of it in gradations, like a tiny bit of evil and a great amount of evil. If you have to do something, and people look at that, it's not because I want to do it. I do it because I have to. And
yeah.
They consider it,
Yeah.
bad or evil.
Yeah, no, I could see that kind of an infringement upon you, and yeah, I guess that's evil. But that's why we got to. I mean, that's the choice that we have here. There is no difference. This here, man, is crap. No difference.
Oh yeah, but you know how people get really excited. I mean, if you don't support Romney, you're asking for 4 more years of terrible Obama, and sure, Romney's not that good, but he's so much better than Obama, and this is all going to fall apart with. Basically, they're trying to convince you hope and change.
Yeah.
They're trying to convince you that Romney will bring you the security.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so what they're still doing is giving up freedom for security, because none of these guys they're not about increasing our freedom, removing some of the restrictions that have been placed on us.
Yeah.
They're going to come out with more control. And if something is wrong in society, and it was wrong because of what government did to create it, to make it go bad,
Yeah.
they're not going to look and say, what did government do to make this go bad? They're going to say, what new government thing can we do to fix this? And so they'll be pushing more security and taking away more liberties, just like the nonsense of the TSA. Government fails us. It's supposed to deal with the bad guys, and 19 bad guys got in these airplanes and did this damage.
Oh yeah, well NORAD, the air defense
Right.
system failed us, right? This is
Right.
$1 trillion, business here, keeping the sky safe, watching every single plane. This is what we pay them for. This is the evil that we must pay to.
So that what the government decides is, we'll take away the freedom of all those 20 million airplane passengers that travel every year and that are going to harm nobody. We'll take away their freedom and make them think they're all going to be safer. They got this huge TSA agency that goes around, groping children and probably child molesters. They finally found a job that they could enjoy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're sticking their hands down little kids' pants. They're taking naked pictures of people.
And the tyranny is that we think we're safer, we're better off, and
that's the Matrix right there,
that's
right?
The Matrix.
You walk. That's the Matrix is like, okay, I'm going into this place. They're gonna make me safe, but really, it's just violating you. It is the unsafeness. But the Matrix, because of the propaganda, the movies, and the billboards that you see on the way into the airport saying, hey, we're going to keep you safe, because all those things are there and have already programmed our consciousness. When we get up to the molester, the violator, and he violates us, we're saying, this is safety. This is...
Yeah. It's so bizarre that, I mean, and when you get yourself out of that matrix, I forget, was it the red pill?
That was the red pill, man.
You come out of the matrix a little bit. It's overwhelming when you start to try to communicate to people that are still in the matrix, and you realize what you're trying to communicate through, and guys like Ben Franklin, guys that were at the beginning of this system, when they talked about don't give up liberty for security because you'll end up with neither, they understood it way back then. How much liberty have we given up in the last 200 years for the idea of security? Now, this is a 2003 California DMV code book.
Damn.
If I had a 2012, it might be a lot bigger, right? But this is all about control. This is not about freedom. This is telling you what you can and you can't do, and what the punishments might be for it, and then they even have exceptions where they'll let people out. Here's section 27-400. No person operating any motor vehicle or bicycle shall wear any headset covering or any earplugs in both ears. The prohibition of this section does not apply to any of the following. And then it goes and gives its exceptions. Persons operating authorized emergency vehicles, any person engaged in the operation of either special construction equipment or equipment for the use and maintenance of any highway, etc., etc. Now here's this one little section out of this huge big book. But if you're a little kid and you got, or not a little kid, you're a kid, you got
14, 15?
Yeah, 15. You're wearing, listening to the radio and whatnot. Yeah. That's not okay, and we're going to punish you for that. But if you're somebody that's deaf, right, you're not wearing anything in your ear, but you can't hear or see anything. They're not going to punish that person. And then arbitrary, capricious.
Arbitrary is the capital.
Yep. And this is all saying you can and you can't, you can and you can't. The masters, you see, in a free society where you don't have tyranny, where you have free will, you decide what you're going to do and not do, and we make restrictions on that where you can't violate someone else in that process. Then in a free society, you decide you don't have a book like this that wants to control the state and the controllers, both political parties. They just add on to these things and build these things, tell you what you can and can't do. And so they destroy liberty at the pretense of security. And what do you really end up? You end up with drivers that are less responsible because they don't even know what they can and can't do. Permission of the state.
Yeah.
And they think, somebody said, I got seatbelt and there's stop signs, so people have to stop over there. I'm safe. So they're not as cautious.
Oh man, not me, man. I'm every turn, every intersection, I'm looking at all the sides, man. When I'm going through my neighborhood, I look at every single way coming, man, because I'm not in that matrix there, man, thinking that book is going to keep me safe. It's not.
I thought you were looking for the cops that were
Well, I told you, man. I went to the traffic court, right? The damn guys gave out 11 jaywalking tickets, man. 11 jaywalking tickets, $200 a pop. Mike, one of the women that goes up there, man, she walks up. She's one of the first ones, so the crowd in the court is filled up with people. She goes up there, and the judge says, "Okay, are you guilty?" And she says, I don't know. And he says, well, how can you not know? Are you guilty or not guilty? And she says, well, I don't think I'm guilty. I don't know what I did. And her voice was a little funny, but you could tell she was confused. The judge is poking fun at her. Everybody in the crowd is laughing at her, right? She turns around, and the lady's obviously, she has deformities, man. She has some sort of retardation.
Maybe she had a stroke or something?
I think she might have had Down syndrome or something like that, man. The people in the damn audience, man, are laughing at people being chastised at the judge for jaywalking, man. And it's like, who are you people, man? What have you done with the humans? You guys are laughing at this guy. You're laughing at the jokes from the guy who's about to get you in front of there and punish you
for not obeying the masters.
And it's like this really weird, nervous laugh, Everybody's around me laughing. It's like they think, hey, well, if the judge sees me laughing at his jokes, maybe he'll take it easy on me. Maybe I could get in the favor of the judge here, man. And so I thought, man, here's 11 people. One lady walked up and said, I'm not guilty. I didn't jaywalk. And the judge was like, okay, he seemed a little shocked. The judge even seemed shocked that there was 11 jaywalking. Apparently in El Cajon right now, they're on the prowl, man. So you're right, I am watching out for the cops when I'm driving past there.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford this, man. I can't be up in the courthouse every 2 months. It's ridiculous, man. And it's totally making us about, can I read a news article here, Mike?
Oh, yeah, just don't make it a boring one.
Well, man, cops let San Diego Police Department captain's son go after disturbance, right? So they let this, I don't know if this is this a disturbance, right? After the son of a San Diego police captain was accused of groping two women, hitting another in the face, and smashing a car window during an alcohol-fueled disturbance in Pacific Beach last month, he was not taken to jail. The son, Alex Guadarrama, was treated for cuts, put in the front seat of a police cruiser, unhandcuffed, and shuttled to a parking lot in La Mesa where his mom picked him up. 11 jaywalking tickets, man. They go on to say here, this kind of thing happens. It just doesn't happen to people in Pacific Beach, and it just doesn't happen to 23-year-old sons of police captains. Many times a month we take the exact course of action. Well, how many times do you think they just let some jaywalker go without giving... I think they give him a ticket, man. He's out there sexually battering people, breaking people's property, and it's like, okay, well, we'll take you to the hospital and then give you to your mom, and then off you go. So I'm thinking, man, these ladies who he molested, how pissed off must they be right now? I mean, they're looking at Thomas Paine right now, and they're thinking, man, this is an intolerable government that we have right now. This is not a necessary evil. This is one that we can't tolerate. It's not for me. This is for. It says the UT they wanted to see how busy the cops were that night. How if this was selective enforcement. Apparently, the sheriff's deputies on the same night booked 5 people whose sole charges were public drunkenness. They arrested a motorist accused of reckless driving and another man suspected of being under the influence of drugs. They arrested these people, took them to the jail, man. They're going to have to go see that punk-ass judge and be part of this weird little circus they got going on there. But, hey, this guy gets to go free. It's all good.
Well, that's a bad thing that this guy gets to go free.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bad thing, but what's more infuriating is that the innocent people don't get to go free. Okay? It's something to be mad about that the guy that's a bad guy that did, stuff that he shouldn't have done to people gets to go free.
Yeah.
But what infuriates me more is the people that have done nothing don't get to go free. These guys are public drunkenness. They might have been sitting there happying you to death, They didn't say anything about, they did anything violent or harmful to anybody. They might have been just, a happy-go-lucky drunk walking down the street and, singing songs and stuff. Well, public drunkenness. So he's locked up, where this guy that you're talking about goes free. So the most infuriating thing is all these things that are made crimes. Now imagine, I don't have a son, I have 2 daughters, but one of them is pretty much like, she has an attitude that you might find in a son instead of a daughter. But if I had a son and the cop pulled him over for not having a seatbelt that same night you're talking about, because he might be like me, he might be dead, because he'll tell the cop something like, "What are you pulling me over for?" "Well, you don't have a seatbelt on." He says, "Well, I don't want a seatbelt on. I'm going on my way." "No, you're not going on your way." "Yes, I am going on my way." "No, you're not. Get out of the car." "No, I'm not getting out of the car." Smash the window or whatever, tase him, and he would fight and resist because this is tyranny. And the cop put a bullet in his head because, he didn't have a seat belt on. And we hear these stories all the time where these cops are killing people that are 100 feet away because they're holding a shovel or something. And this is the kind of, this should infuriate people that were violated and violated to confiscate the fruits of their hard-earned labor in a stupid jaywalking ticket, or you cross the thing when the light turned red and about 10 steps before you got to the corner.
Right. Yeah.
This.
No, I've been searched for that. I've searched. They said you walked on a red hand. You walked on the red hand. The light was green. You walked on a red. We need to search you. I said, you ain't searching me, man. And they said, no, we're gonna search you. I said, no, you're not gonna search me. Goes on and on. Finally, they say, okay, well, this was inspiration for me to start to understand my unalienable rights. And they said, well, we can't search inside your pockets, but because we stopped you legally, we can pat you down for weapons. This is after they already had me on the side of the road for 20 minutes trying to get inside my pockets. They started patting me down, right? I had a little marker in my pocket, a small one. She grabs it. She goes, "What's this? What's this?" And I said, "I thought you were looking
supposed to keep this clean."
She said, "What?" I said, "I thought you were looking for guns." And she said, "You know, a gun can be that big." But all joking aside, man, when she drove away, man, I felt dirty, man. I think we've talked about this before, and I think you've made the same jokes, man. But I felt violated, man. It was just like, ugh. I probably felt like those girls did when that guy came up and just
groped him.
Yeah. What's the difference? This lady has a badge and she has some crap, 3,000 page something behind her, and that's her justification or her this is what makes it legit, man. It's totally bizarre, man.
So how do we get down this road? And people are in this matrix now, and they've given up so much freedom for security that they're now living under the illusion of freedom when their actions are all controlled. When they get in that car, they're not putting that seatbelt on because they've made a conscious decision that it's the right proper thing to do based on reality and real facts. They may have, like the person that was hypnotized, come up with the justifier why I'm putting the seatbelt on, because it's safe.
Yeah.
When they've really been programmed that they best do it, because if they don't do it, they're going to get punished. The electric shock or whatever. But it's a programming; it's in their mind. I wrestled this when I'm peeling off the layers of the onion, that of the matrix. I wrestled with this myself, and I was saying to myself, why am I putting this seatbelt on? Is it my decision, or am I doing it because the masters say I have to?
Well, I know why I do it, man. I don't do it until I see one of those guys pulling up behind me, man, and then I go and grab it, because I know that this is they're looking for that fight. I'm uncomfortable with the seatbelt. I don't feel safe with the seatbelt, man. I feel unsafe, actually. I feel if I need to jump over to the next seat, I need to jump. I'm telling you, man, I'm looking for every way out in any situation, man. And if something is constraining me, if something is hindering my liberty, my freedom to move as I want to, then it's gonna I probably won't use it. And so I don't, man. I rarely throw on the seatbelt. Oh, they got us good now because it goes ding, 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 ding.
There was a movie with Steve McQueen, and there's a chase scene going on. He's in a Mustang, and you can actually, it's this 40-year-old movie. You could see Steve McQueen reach over and grab the seatbelt. He's already flying through the city, and then put it into the lock. Puts the seatbelt on, and that tells a lot, actually. I mean, if you're traveling at high speeds and whatnot, and if you get into an accident and things start flipping, it might be a good idea to have it on.
Yeah. True that.
I know there was an occasion in my life where I was in an accident. It was not another car. I hit a guardrail, and I didn't have the seatbelt on. But when I hit the guardrail and the car spun, it was raining out and the road was really slippery. The car spun in such a way, when it spun around, the guardrail smashed into the driver's side door. But I didn't have the seatbelt on. If I had the seatbelt on, I would have been toast. Because in the spinning and everything going on, I was thrown over into the passenger side. And I was going on a road that I was probably traveling 35 miles an hour and whatnot. It wasn't like going 65, maybe it was 40 and 35 or 40. So if I did what the law demanded, then I would have been toast. So, and that's the thing, because they'll say, well, statistics are, so you have to do what the statistics are. Not, you don't get to make the choice yourself. So if you're going to die in a car accident, I would prefer if it was my bad decision, not somebody else's.
Well, we're touching on the core here, Mike, right? The government is not supposed to secure our life.
Right.
Right? It's supposed to secure our right to it and to do what we like, as long as we don't harm other people. The government is not supposed to tell us to put the seatbelt on. It's supposed to protect us from people who will try to start organizations, follow us around, and pull us over for some arbitrary law that they make up.
Right.
That's the proper role.
Some marauding gang that says you got to do this,
right,
or we're going to take your money away from you. So it's supposed to deal with those kind of folks. It's not supposed to be those folks.
Man, and here we go, man. It's intolerable now, man. I mean, it has become totally oppressive. Like, how are we all not just so pissed off right now, man?
Because we're under the illusion that we're free.
How are you under the illusion that you're free? And you know what? I was thinking about that today, Mike. I was thinking, I wonder if I go ask some of these gay people, right? If I went up to them, they can't get married, right? The government has this prohibition on them getting married. I bet I could go up to these people and say, are you free? And they'd say, yeah. I'd say, yeah. Because they don't understand. And I'm not trying to throw that out just at the gay people as to say that they're intellectually inept or anything. It's just, I think that's how in the matrix we are, man.
Well, you take anybody that goes to work and on Friday he gets his paycheck and looks at it and you say, and they get this paycheck, you say, are you free? Do you own your labor? Yeah, I'm free. I own my labor. I'm free. I can do whatever I want with my labor. Do you get to keep the fruits of your labor? Well, most of it. Well, what about this $200 they took out of your paycheck? What about that fruit of your labor? Do you have any say in that? If the government tells you how much of the fruits of your labor you can keep, you call that freedom? What if they say we're taking it all? At what point would you change your attitude and say, I'm no longer free? You've been conditioned for them to take that $200 out of your check. And you think you're free. They own your labor. And how do we get into this soup? The property. They own your property. You want to put a little addition on your property. Can you do it?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go talk to this guy.
Well, they're protecting your property, see? That's where they went awry. The government thinks they're protecting your property against you. Because you're going to do something to that property that isn't right. Instead of doing what their charge is, Jefferson said it in the Declaration of Independence. See, I got people, when I hear people talking about Constitution, and this sacred Constitution, they're missing the boat. Because the Constitution was supposed to fulfill the promise of the Declaration of Independence. And Jefferson says that government's purpose there was to secure our rights. So if we have a right to our property that we lawfully attained, is it supposed to secure the property against us? What right do we have to our property if the government, we have to get permission to the government? We don't have a right to it anymore.
Yeah, exactly, man. You could go up to, I probably could go up to somebody standing in line at the damn city building, waiting to get a permit to put a second story on top of the garage and say, "Are you free?" I say, "Of course I'm free." What? If I wasn't free, I'd be pissed off, man. I'd be ready to fight for my freedom. And it's just totally warped. So, you know, and how do we break out of this, man? How do we break out the shackle?
How do you break out of it, and how do you get people to realize that, you know, don't just listen to 40-minute video or get something in the email that says Obama is going crazy and passed 900 executive orders. And just because you don't like Obama, and that sounds like something, it sounds like it's, I don't know why they think it's credible. They just buy it and pass it along to everybody on their list, in their email list, instead of looking and verifying. You don't have to go that far, like I said. You don't have to go to the library.
It's on the computer.
Check it out, see what it says.
It's like the picture, man, of Mitt Romney. One thing. One thing.
But you know what? There's people that are neutral, and they pass from a friend, they get this thing, they look at that and say, "Oh, that's scumbag." You know? So now all of a sudden they don't like Mitt Romney for that reason. When there's plenty of reasons that you and I could talk about why you shouldn't like Mitt Romney that are not BS or fabricated. They're real.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And why I don't like any politician, and you know, some of my libertarian friends, they get mad at me because, you know, well, this guy's the best of the two, or this guy has some libertarian leanings. And I go, this guy will violate my freedom and your freedom. He will violate your right to life, liberty, and property. He will not repeal regulations that are on the books that are already violating you. And you're mad at me because I won't support him? I mean, what's wrong with that picture? This is insanity.
No, it is insanity, man, and it's what it is, man, is a recipe for revolution, man. I mean, I don't see how, when it comes down to the choices not actually being a difference, how do you partake in that system?
Yeah, but these people in the Matrix, they're part. The system's fine. They don't see that part of the problem.
Oh, they don't. They don't. You know what I'm saying? They say, "Oh, well, I'm just living my life," you know. And I get this to a lot of people who don't want to talk about politics. I try to start cracking that shell a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And essentially it'll come down to, well, you know, I don't really think about that. You know, I'm just trying to live my life and be happy. It's like, dude, your money is about to be worthless, man. The banks are collapsing this entire thing. Your property's going to be taken from you. And you're not going to be able to be happy, man. The entire system's coming down around you.
You won't be able to pay your mortgage. You won't be able to pay your phone bill. You won't be able to buy gas for your car, even if you own your car now. Buying food will be a monstrous task. And like you said, the money being destroyed, the economy being collapsing, and the currency collapsing. And there, people will sit there and they'll say, "Gosh, who would have known? How could you have known?" And it's like, but they're the same guys that say, "Well, I'm just trying to live my life. I don't worry about politics." What are these guys in politics doing? Don't you see that they're building block by block and bar by bar your prison?
Straight up, man, building your prison. So tell me how happy you're going to be able to be inside of this prison, man. It's so dang obvious, Mike. And so this is why I think that, like, you know, trying to get the word out, man. This is the work that needs to get done. You know, I was thinking, like, I was at my job, man, and I was just like, you know, man, this is kind of like not fulfilling, you know, this urge inside of me, to be creative, man, and will I even be able to be prosperous with my current occupation? Thinking, will I be able to save money for my family and whatnot? And then I was like, dude, Mario, that doesn't matter, man. What matters right now is exposing the situation at hand with the money being collapsed, the Federal Reserve, fiat money, the prison being built around us right now, calling out these fallacies of lawfulness, man. Like, this is work. This is something that I'm passionate about, And it's like, well, and I'm passionate about because it actually has meaning. Because nothing else is going to matter if we do not stop this thing from happening.
If you don't have liberty, what kind of life do you have? You could even have, some sort of prosperity for a while, but it'll go away without liberty. And what folks don't get, and what you were talking about there, and what's important, is that when they can, by a click of a switch, destroy the value of any of those paper dollars you have in your pocket, or you go to work and hey, I'm sorry, we don't have any more work for you. Business is just horrible. And it's horrible because these controller guys are sucking they're sucking the life out of the economy. And we are begging them, they're sucking the life out of it because they destroyed freedom. And we're begging to have the better controller who's promising to fix the economy. We're begging for security when what we need really for prosperity is freedom. That's what made America great. It's so bizarre. The founders said government that governs least governs best.
Yeah.
So just a minimal government to secure our rights, and prosperity just took off in this country. And so people now go, well, we had such a great government, let's get more of it. It was great because it was small and it only secured our rights. It didn't violate us. But now folks think that they did wrong if they jaywalked like you talked about. They did wrong because they didn't wear their seatbelt. I did wrong because I used drugs. I broke the law because I used drugs. You may have did wrong to your body because, it's not healthy. Smoking cigarettes is not healthy, and not exercising is not healthy, and overeating is not healthy. You could say that's doing wrong to your body, but that you broke the law for these things, that's nuts. They broke the law. These guys are criminals to violate your life and your liberty. And why are we not upset that they locked somebody up because they were consenting adults who decided to exchange money for drugs without a doctor's prescription?
Or for sex.
Or any of that stuff.
Anything. Or for raw milk.
Why don't we feel violated that we got to pay for that?
I do feel violated, Mike. Absolutely. I don't see. I'm not getting anything out of this. They're just robbing me. Absolutely, 100%. And this is it, Mike. I look at these Republican people, man. The people that call themselves conservatives, and they're saying we gotta. Look at Obama's $15 trillion now. He's pumping all this money into that. It's $5 trillion since he took office. Look at all this welfare and Mitt Romney ain't gonna do nothing. He's not talking about cutting the budget down. He's not talking about balancing any budget. He's not talking about slashing any offices. The one guy, Ron Paul, who was gonna do this for you, who had the plan, who was talking about doing this, man, and they brush him off as being a kook, but then they say all of his ideas are what we need. I mean, it's total schizophrenia, man.
Oh yeah, and then they'll say, they say stuff like, "Well, he's going to bring all the troops home. That's dangerous, and he's going to legalize drugs, and that's bad." And these conservatives they say they're economic conservatives. What's economically conservative about saying we need this drug war?
Yeah.
That costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, what's economically conservative about saying we need to have a military all over the world? What's economically conservative about saying we need to drug test welfare mothers? That's another program. And then what's economically conservative about saying we need border patrol, more border patrol and fences on the border? That's spending more money. When you got troops that are guarding the borders in Iran or Afghanistan that could be here on American soil doing all their training up and down the border, and you wouldn't spend any more money at all if you're going to train to protect the United States. They could be on the border.
Nah.
There's nothing economically conservative about these guys.
If I had a balloon, I'd pop it right now, Mike. Because there ain't nothing.
You have a BAM thing. What happened to the BAM thing?
I don't know, man.
Where's that? It's a different screen.
I think we lost.
We're out of time anyway.
Yeah, we're out of time, man. Yeah, well, it was a good time. Anyway.
Well, we need a BAM thing, but anyway, we're ending Tyranny Busters here. Hope you all got something out of it. Remember the book, The Law. Frederick Bastiat will bust the tyranny upon the mind of man. In that book, get a copy of it, and we're going to send an email version around. It's going to be really good.
All right. Take it easy.
Tyranny Busters. Tyranny Busters. Tyranny Busters. Tyranny Busters. Busters.